Hi, this is Rabbi Antine.
And I'm Rabbi Joel Tessler from Beth Sholom Congregation in Potomac, Maryland. And the two of us are going to bring you 2 minutes of Torah from two rabbis about Yom Kippur.
Well, maybe 3 or 4 minutes.
Probably 3 or 4 minutes.
I'll begin with Kol Nidre. Kol Nidre, everybody shows up to Shul. Everyone's wearing white. All the Sifrei Torah are taken out of the ark. The Chazan begins chanting the haunting tune of Kol Nidre. Everybody is singing along. And I'm hoping deep inside that nobody's peeking over to the English side to actually know what they're saying. Because if you would look there, you'd find out that you're reciting a technical, legalistic passage about revoking all of our vows. Why did the rabbis choose this passage to open up the most amazing day of the year with? One quick thought. As we begin the Yom Kippur service, and we're going to spend 25 hours clapping al chet, promising that we're going to do this, making vows that we're not going to do that, we remember that exactly 1 year ago, we made so many vows, so many promises, and how many of them did we really keep? Talk is cheap if we can't back it up with action. So we begin Yom Kippur by reminding ourselves how all the previous vows were so hard to fulfill, and we really have to figure out 1 or 2 small things that we can really change. We have a day left to Yom Kippur. Each of us should try to think of 1 or 2 small things, so when we come to Yom Kippur, we'll actually be able to make some real changes in our lives.
Only once a year do we say the prayer Ne'ilah. What is the source of Ne'ilah? Ne'ilah comes from the Hebrew word lin'ol, which means to lock or to close. The Talmud in Brachot Yerushalmi, the Jerusalem Talmud, tells us that it either refers to the closing of the gates in heaven or the closing of the gates in the Beit HaMikdash, in the temple itself. Rabbi Soloveitchik explained that Yom Kippur must be a Yom Tefillah, a day totally devoted to prayer. Just like Yom Kippur used to be a day of devotion totally to the avodah, to the service, the karbanot, the sacrifices, now it's a day totally devoted to prayer. And therefore the rabbis added a 5th service, Ma'ariv at night, Shacharit, Musaf, Mincha, and now Ne'ilah, to end this day of total prayer and devotion to God. It either means that Ne'ilah has to take place when the temple gates were closed, and the temple gates were closed before the sun went down, or it refers to Ne'ilah that it has to be completed by the time that the gates in heaven are closed. Interesting to point out, the temple gates closed much earlier than the gates in heaven. Maybe the takeaway from that is that human beings often judge each other very strictly, harshly, don't give each other the benefit of the doubt, and in the end, I would not like to put my fate into the hands of people. But in God's hands, those gates remain open way after the gates on earth have closed. Because God is telling us, I will wait for you and I will wait for you, even at the very end of the day, as long as there is a little bit of light, there's a little bit of hope, that our hearts will be moved to turn to God and to ask that God forgive us on this Yom Kippur day. And God bring us salvation and protect us on this Yom Kippur day. Gemar Chatima Tova.